allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So if we could remember, since our last meeting, Vinnie Dugas and Bill Vasic. Vasic's an older name in the community. And of course, our men and women in the armed forces. Thank you. If anyone in the audience, if knows that someone has passed away that I don't read off, tell me. Just yell it out, because I don't necessarily always have everyone. I try. Yeah, young, no good. Okay, you got your mics on. Everybody's okay. We have our village attorney here. May I have any public comment on agenda items or other items? Under new business, if I could have the minutes approved. We had a meeting on June 3, 2019, and we had a regular meeting on June 17th, 2019. If I could have the minutes approved.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Motion by trustee Livesey, second by trustee Howard. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I'd like to open up a public hearing on the following properties: 96 Mearns Avenue, property maintenance, and 51 Villa Parkway. Is there anyone here, owner or representing 96 Mearns or 51 Villa? The record will show that there isn't. No comments? Whereas a long-standing violation of the Village Property Maintenance Law, Chapter 170 of the Village of Highland Falls Code, has existed at each property listed above, 96 Mearns Avenue, 51 Villa Parkway, designated on the tax maps, whereas the property owner or owners have been given due notice of said violations and have been directed to correct these violations, and whereas the property owner or owners were given due notice of a public hearing to be held by the Board of Trustees on July 1, 2019 at 7 p.m. to determine whether the violations have been properly remediated and whether to order that corrective action be undertaken by the village to correct said violations at the property owner's cost and expense, to bill said cost and expense to the property owner and to levy same against the property. And whereas a public hearing was held by the Board of Trustees on July 1, 2019, and whereas the owner or owners did not appear, and whereas the owner or owners have not taken steps to correct the violations and the violations still exist, and whereas the Board of Trustees authorized pursuant to Section 170-2 of the Property Maintenance Law to authorize the village undertake to remedy such violations at the property owner's cost and expense. Now therefore, be it resolved that the village, its contractors or agents shall enter upon the property to correct the violations, and that all costs incurred by the village, including administrative, legal, and corrective costs, be charged to the property owner, and such charge shall be added to the tax bill of the property owner if not paid within 30 days of notification to the last known address of the property owner as shown on the village tax record, dated July 1, 2019, Highland Falls, New York. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by trustee Livesey, second by trustee Howard. May I have roll call?
Trustee Howard?
Aye.
Trustee Livesey?
Aye.
Trustee Ramus?
Aye.
Mayor DiNapoli?
Aye. Motion carries. Just for information, there were several other violators on the agenda for tonight, but all but two did correct at the last minute their violations. But what I want to just point out, and I appreciate that, but what I want to point out is that 195 Main Street had a violation. After they're in the process of getting a $250,000 reduction in their assessment, Key Bank had a violation of cutting their grass. And there was another property, 11 Center Street, that did correct their violations at the last minute, but they also have had a $41,000 reduction in their assessment. So while I'm not trying to relate assessment, lowering assessment to cutting grass, but I still think there's a point there to be made that here these two have a reduction in their assessment and then don't take care of their properties. That I don't like. Okay. And I'll close the public, can we close the public hearing? We opened it, I didn't close it.
Okay.
So,
make a motion to
motion
close.
by trustee Howard, seconded by trustee Ramus, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. You have before you a resignation of a full-time police officer, David Yates, effective July the 7th, 2019. He writes a nice letter here. Chief, is there anything you want to add?
Only that we appreciate his service while he was here, and we wish him all the best moving forward.
Yeah, and those are things we always say and we mean them. This is a fine young man right here. And you know this, I was very, very, very disappointed in this, in getting this. He should move on to better himself. I understand that. But boy, he was an asset to this department. A real asset to this department.
And our residents sent in some notices about how well he would get out of his car, talk to people, try to solve anything that came up. He was good. Very good.
May I have a motion to accept his letter of resignation?
Motion.
Motion by trustee Livesey, is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Ramus, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you. Tonight would be the night we want to take Sergeant Jason Torpy off probation, recommended by the chief, if we could do that tonight. He served all his time.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by trustee Howard, seconded by trustee Ramus, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I would like to ask the board for authorization to sign the addendum number 6 with the LA Group for services of Borough Park. The reason for the addendum is that they were charging us X amount of dollars, 10,000 actually, it's right here. So that hasn't changed, but to our benefit, they would like it changed to work better with us, an hourly rate, not to exceed 10,000. So it might be what we want to do. Maybe we have up to 10 no matter what whether we keep it the same as it is right now or change it to this, but we could save some money if the hourly rate doesn't exceed 10,000. If I could have a motion. Or questions?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by trustee Howard,
Second.
second by trustee Livesey. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Treasurer is asking for $19,566 to be taken from the A1990.1990 and put it into the A1910-0400. We could approve that per his request.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by trustee Livesey, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by trustee Howard, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. What's on TV tonight, Mary Jane?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Yankees are off.
It's just summer stuff, right?
Yeah.
So you don't have to get home to Dancing with the Stars or
Don't watch it.
what's the other one? I don't know.
Nothing.
Nothing. Because we have a very long meeting tonight.
I'm still not.
You ready?
Still not staying.
Okay. All right, you have before you the bids for the north end sidewalks. Things are starting to happen. And we had bid openings last week, and 1, 2, 3, we had 5. We had 5 bidders. They range from a low bid of $201,500, $201,500, to a high of $678,000. Paperwork had to be checked out with the low bidder, and Todd, our engineer, did. He spent a lot of time on this, and he is recommending that we go with the low bidder of $201,500, Kelleher Contracting out of Pearl River, New York. So that would be my recommendation.
Well, my feeling is, let's get them done, so I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Motion by trustee Livesey, is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Howard, all in favor? Aye, opposed, motion carried. Question?
When will that project get started?
So that's a that's a very good question. The best I can tell you, because we need to back into it, I was gonna make this remark in a little bit. So here's what I wanted the public to know. July 8th, on Monday, July 8th, actually a week from today, Precision Piping, which is doing the work for Central Hudson, will start the digging at Cousins Avenue in Maine and work north. Cousins and Maine and work north, all the way to Thayer Gate. They're starting on July 8th. I had a meeting with Central Hudson this morning. Barring an unforeseen under the ground, they're talking anywhere from 7 to 14 days to do Main Street. We never know what's under the ground. And then we come behind them and pave. So while I don't have the exact date, we have to let Central Hudson get through all their digging first. All the laterals have to be put, they're putting in Maine from Cousins to Thayer, and then every store that has gas is gonna have a new lateral, which will make cuts through the current sidewalks. So even the sidewalks that we just awarded won't be, the date that they're gonna start will be announced. Does that help at all? Doesn't give you an exact date, but I can't.
But the sidewalks are different from the paving, two different jobs.
Correct, but we can't pave until the sidewalks will be done first before we pave. We're putting new curbs in, which are affiliated with which are right with the pavement.
So like the beginning of August, you'll start that project after Central Hudson's done?
I think that's fair to say.
So
You
the
know, it's an
order-
unknown. I want it very clear, it's an unknown.
But the order is sidewalks, curbs, or curb sidewalks, then paving.
The order is new gas main, sidewalk laterals, sidewalks and curbs, then paving.
Yep, you got it. You hit it.
I have bills and claims for two different fiscal years, 2018, 2019, $7,710.01. And if we can do them together, I have for fiscal year 2019, 2020, $279,199.12. And the bills were reviewed downstairs. May I have a motion to?
Motion.
Motion by trustee Livesey, is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Howard, all in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you so much. And I did Central Hudson.
That was a good meeting today, by the way.
It's a good meeting today, thank you for attending.
That was a good meeting.
We had a meeting with Central Hudson. We had a meeting with their contractor who's doing the digging, Precision Piping. Highway Superintendent, trustee Howard. Our engineer, to talk about exactly, Mary Jane, what your question was.
Which Precision isn't new to the community either.
Correct, correct. Okay, Bog Meadow. So I went up last week and looked at Bog Meadow, went up with a couple of folks. we need to have some attention given to Bog Meadow. I know the rain and everything, but it's very overgrown. So I'll be meeting with the water department. Merv, I'll let you know when, and I want to see what work can they do? What can they cut down? And, or what do we have to hire out a contractor to do?
I was up there.
It's pretty heavy.
I know.
Now, I don't know if the TV will be able to pick this up, but there's a picnic table. Someone had cleared the property. The water is actually right here. It's like right next to this property. A picnic table, they cut trees down, they made a perimeter, they built a stone fire here. There's another picture. They built, which you won't be able to see on here, but they built a new road going in, for which I didn't ask for, down to this area here. So, this is serious. This is not going to be tolerated. This is not going to be tolerated. This board is very in tune to protecting our water source. It's our only water source. And we love when people come in and to get a Bog Meadow pass and they get a key. The key changes every year, every January.
It's in June now.
We changed it, so.
And so we kind of know who's giving keys. But a key is, and that's how we handle it. You are given a set of rules after you fill out the front for the application to get a key and a Bog Meadow pass that you put in your wallet. And on the back, it has all the restrictions. So when I look at the pictures, I checked off no camping. Well, they're camping. I checked off no picnic. Well, they're doing that. No building fires. Well, they're doing that. Be responsible for your actions and that of your guests. Well, they're not doing that. So a lot of these, half of them, they're not. Whoever went up to Bog Meadow and did this, either didn't read the rules, for which they have, or they didn't care. I can't say tonight which one. But this won't be tolerated. We have ways now that I've put in place that are for us to know at this point on how to eliminate folks going up there and destroying the property. There'll be no destroying of this property. There'll be no destroying of this property. It's ours. We need to protect it, and we will. So please, if you're watching this tonight and you're one of the ones that go up there, and maybe you know who did this, I'm not asking for anybody to tell me. I'm just saying, report anything that you see that's not supposed to be going up there. Those folks that go up there are into fishing, are into nature, are into hiking, and I know that they don't want this going on either. But I need help. I need help in reporting what's being done up there if you see it. Someone took the trash can and threw it into the reservoir. No good. I only have a couple more things. Dr. Sheboy from the Superintendent of Schools is scheduling a meeting that I'll attend. I told Mr. Howard that being he's here during the day, I'd like him to come with me. The town will be there, the town supervisor, the town attorney. Elise will probably be there with me, and this is about assessments. It'll be mid to late July. I don't have a date yet. Another night, I'm going to talk more at length about assessments. And if someone has an assessment that's too high, they should grieve it. But I will also tell you, people talk about one government. We're not going to be able to afford one government, let alone two. We won't be able to afford one government. When you look at the amount of dollars that we're losing in assessments that are being lowered, it's amazing. It's amazing. This, I'm getting this updated, that's why I'm going to wait to give a report. But this goes back a year and a half. 28,000, 30,000, 4,000, 21,000, 10,000, 12,000, 32,000, 21,000, 5,000, 214,000, 40,000, 46,000. I mean, I can go on and on and on and on. So forget about one government. You won't be able to afford any government if this continues. And yes, what triggered this for me is I'm not in favor of giving KeyBank any reduction. So we'll see where that goes.
Well, Mr. Mayor, as you say that though, you know, we have to think about this, that everyone that is going before the review board and they're going to lower their assessment value, we can't go on one property and say, but it's not right for you to have it done. And I'm going to use just for an instance, and I won't mention the name, but there is a piece of property here in the community that one of the buildings was taken down. Before that was taken down, it was $779,000 on that, okay? As a vacant lot right now, it's brought down to $500,000. And that was just last year. So again, the other businesses that are out there that have had it lowered, to focus on one and say, but you can't, I don't feel that that's right.
I didn't use the word can't. I'll say it the way I said
No,
it. I am not in favor of KeyBank, a major corporation, having an assessment lowered because, as I was told by the powers to be, it's abandoned. That building is not abandoned. KeyBank closed it. It isn't like they abandoned it. And I know this is apples and oranges, but I am, again, not in favor of KeyBank getting a reduction of $250,000 when it's a major corporation. They did not abandon it, and who's going to make that up? You, my neighbor, me, everyone sitting here.
That doesn't go like that because.
Well, it does go like that.
No, it doesn't.
Who's going to make it up?
When the assessment, when the building is bought, then they can review the assessment again.
All right, we'll see.
But
Once
that-
it's lowered, go ahead and try to raise it.
But it's okay for the old guard though.
Oh, no.
Because that's,
The reason for the old guard is because the building came down, so now it's assessed at the property.
I sort of feel that the building came down because being pushed to come down.
Well, it had to come down for them to build a new hotel.
Okay, we've been talking about a new hotel for 3 years right now, and as a matter of fact.
All I'm saying-
I believe in April they said that they were gonna be in the soil in April. And I passed that building and I don't see nothing going on.
Well, they can't, Murph, I'm surprised you're saying that. They can't do anything. They can't put a shovel in the ground. Please correct me, because I'm not always right.
I know what you're
They
gonna
can,
say.
well, let me say it.
Go ahead.
They cannot put a shovel in the ground to build a new hotel until the off-site drainage is done. Is that correct? Okay.
Whenever that should be.
Well, that has to come first.
I understand what you're saying, Mr. Mayor, but again, the assessment just went down on that, down $278,000.
Because the building came off the property.
So in a couple of years, if still nothing else happens, that's $556,000. But what my point is for KeyBank, whether they're a major corporation or not, to be selective on which one you think should be right, or this person shouldn't do this, or that person shouldn't do that. I myself have been before the review board. I've been before them with my home. Okay, my 18th century home. And the thing with mine, my value went up. While I look at some other homes that went down. But again, I don't think we as this is a town matter, and I understand we represent the village, but there are reasons that are behind this right now. And I think we as the village board should know more on the town's approach before we get negative to what they're doing. Because again, this isn't like only one property in the town of Highlands is being reduced. There's many of them.
I just went through that list. I'm
I
not
know.
saying that there's one, but
Okay.
again, I'm gonna say it because it's
I know
my
what you're-
opinion. Well, I
okay.
appreciate you knowing what I'm gonna
Okay.
say before I say it, but I'm gonna say it. I am against Key Bank, a major corporation, who's getting a reduction of $250,000 that the residents that I represent are not gonna have to pick up. I don't have so much of a problem with the Old Guard Hotel. I wanna make it clear so people know. The Old Guard Hotel, as you say, had a reduction in their assessment, but that's because they took a building off the grounds. And now the new assessment is the property.
And that even sometimes makes you more like, well, what's gonna really happen with this property? Mr. Mayor, it's not like we're seeing anything 100% positive happening up there, but besides all of that, my point is that businesses that are in this community, such as the Key Bank, which is non-operational right now, hopefully, that building is gonna be bought by something else. We all know what's gonna happen when it gets bought. It's gonna be reassessed and everything else, and that's what's going to happen with that property. Right now, it's nothing. If the building is there or isn't there, it's as good as nothing right now.
Okay. We can disagree.
That's okay.
I disagree on the lowering of assessment of Key Bank, and you're okay with it, and that's fine. Let's see what happens. But I am going to bring everyone up to date about the assessments here in the village. Again, if someone has an assessment that's too high, they should go to the,
They should.
They should go through the process and see if they can get it lowered. But remember that all of these amounts, and I did not add them up because I'm gonna get a current list, is hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars of lowering of assessment.
And take
I did add it up a long time ago, over $4 million of assessments we lost. Now, who made, and these are village properties.
Well, that's correct, Mr. Mayor, and the other thing is though, as you have this sheet here, there's other sheets of who's went up.
You think it's $4 million?
I sure wish it was.
Wish it was, okay, all right, thank you.
But aren't we going to meet with the town and the school board?
Yeah, I'm waiting on Sheboy to come up with the date, yeah. There has to be, we have to come up with a policy with the school. You know, do we want to be represented? Do we want to send our attorney every time there's a question about an assessment, maybe being lowered or higher, I don't know. We each send an attorney, so now there's 3 attorneys in the room, one from the town, one from the village, and one from the town, one from the village, and one from the school. I hate to say this, no offense, but putting 3 attorneys into a room, I'm not sure what can get done. Sorry. Or do we want to have one attorney? The problem with having one attorney, as a school board member has said to me, that attorney would be serving 3 masters. Can that be done? So we have to talk about this. What's the village's best approach to protect ourselves?
You know, when you do talk about assessment though, there are people, I live on Church Street, there are people who are very confused saying, well, how come the person down the block got lowered and I didn't when I went? So,
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of variables. I certainly don't
That's
understand, I certainly don't understand it fully. But that is a question people ask themselves, how come this one gets it and that one doesn't? Do you know?
No, it's completely up to the board of assessment.
You know, we have a lot of properties that don't pay taxes at all, and I'm not at all, please, I want to make this clear. I'm not suggesting they do. But here's a list of properties in the village that don't pay taxes at all. It adds up to a little over $37 million. But again, as I look at this list, they should not be paying taxes because it's churches, and we can differ on that. It's the library, right? There's government property, U.S. government property. You know, so but I'm just saying already there's $37 million taken off. But the list goes on, and again, if anyone is paying too much, if their assessment is too high, and you can prove it, which is what you have to do, there's companies out there, I guess, that help you. Listen, you should do it, and I wish you all the luck. It's just that what bothered me was Key Bank. Mary Jane, did you have a question?
No.
Oh, I thought you had a question. Okay, Brian?
No, no.
Mr. Byrd?
Couple things I have is, on a good note of everything, nothing.
It's all good.
It's all good.
That's all good.
Number one, I would like to thank the mayor and his 4th of July committee.
Oh,
Honestly, I mean, there's gonna be a 4th of July here celebration in this community. It would not be happening without that committee, plain and simple. And,
thank you.
you know, as emergency services that are out there, from the police to fire department, ambulance corps, and all of that, it's really a nice thing. When you walk up to one of these people and say, hey, thanks a lot, I really appreciate it, it helps. It really makes that person feel better if you go up to a police officer and say thank you, or go up to a member of the 4th of July committee and say, thank you for putting this together. It's please do that, because it really makes the person feel better inside. Hey, you know, that was nice. One thing I want to talk about with the 4th of July is the other night I was in my home, and I'm for fireworks and all of that stuff, the sparklers, but there are some big stuff going on. I mean, there's M80s, Chief, if you're still here.
Is the chief open?
There's blockbusters going off. I know the sounds of them. And I did some research today, and I looked up the New York State law and everything else, and in New York State, the only thing that is legal is the sparklers, and that's me, my 911. But anyway, sparklers, am I correct, Chief? That's what's legal in New York. So
If it goes airborne or goes bang or boom, it's illegal.
it's illegal. And the thing is when these things go off, I mean, you hear the firecrackers and this and that go off, but when the big explosions go off, I'll sound a little soft here, it bothers the animals, big time,
That was nuts.
big time. And not only that, it bothers the people, okay? So when these things go off 11 o'clock at night, you don't know if a transformer blew or what was it, you got an idea, but please, don't do that. The other thing I want to talk about real quick is I took a picture of something, and this is, we talk about the garbage that's left out on the streets, like on garbage day and this and that. So up in my area, Tuesday, tomorrow is garbage day. Some people are putting it out a week early. Now I took a picture of one, which you can take a look at this here. There's mattresses and there's all kind of stuff that was out, there's boxes. That ended up on the lawns across the street and down the road and everything else. Not only that, for the garbage guys that are out there at 4:30 in the morning, you know, this stuff is wet now, they gotta pick it up and everything. It's just bad to do that. And I don't know how to stop doing this.
Well, there's a code. We already have a code. You're allowed to put your trash out at a certain time, and you're supposed to have your cans in by 5 p.m. that night.
Okay.
So if we see someone, Tuesday is my trash day, if I see someone out putting stuff out on Saturday or Sunday, that's not the code. And so they can be asked by the police department, or we can get a hold of the building department to, quick enough that he would go up there and tell them, hey, bring your stuff in, you can't put it out today.
And just for a real short discussion,
Because this is done.
Roe Park, where are we with that?
The renovations?
Yeah.
Okay, so a good question. So we're dealing with the LA architects with Roe Park. He is coming up with an estimate on the items that were down. We're also talking to the state about changing some of it. Maybe don't do this, but do this,
Some
all at Grove
modifications
Park.
here and there, yeah.
Gina, what else?
We're kind of waiting to get the contract back to them, and when we do, we'll be able to get
Yeah.
going. But LA Group is doing the specs and all that we
Yeah.
want to get done.
I have a contract downstairs from the LA Group that I'm reading, and it'll be, if we have to have an emergency meeting or something, or 2 weeks from today, it'll be asked to be approved and sent back.
Okay.
But believe it or not, it is moving. It's taken time. It took time to, quite a long time actually, to get
Took over a
the,
year,
to get the,
contract from
The-
Gasney.
from the state. We had to wait for the budget to be passed. We all know what that means with New York State. Then the budget, the division of budget had to finally sign off on it, which is not on the top of the pile. Back to DASNIA. So we never could move ahead because even though I can say, you can say, and I believe we're right, we have them, we're gonna get it, we really couldn't spend any of the money until we actually have all these signed documents from the state. And we finally have it. It took all that time.
And we have 30
All the way
days to
back
get
to
it
when you
back.
started on this, remember? A couple of years now.
We have some stuff to do on that. We have 30 days to return it to the state.
So, it's moving.
Yeah, I have two things I'm gonna say.
But that- I'm glad you asked that.
I don't have any questions. The 8th grade graduation last week was great. The speakers were great, kids got some nice academic awards. It was really a nice ceremony. I also want to thank James Scoofus for the $9,000 that he gave the village of Highland Falls to fix some of the winter problems we had with potholes and things. So that's gonna help us too. That's it.
And that's a good thing, and you're right, we thank him. And Gina and I just started today to talk about that, how do we spend it? I'd like to put it towards the overall paving of streets.
Okay.
And so we're figuring out with the state how we can spend it. It's not easy dealing with the state or the federal government with a grant. It's great they give it to us. But the day they give it to you is not the day you get it. It's like, it could be a couple of years. It's amazing.
State's got a lot of grass to cut right now, you know.
Listen, then I'm gonna give the floor to Jimmy. Some of you, when I look around the room, I don't know who was born when Sue Kelly was our congresswoman. I have money from Sue Kelly. Imagine that. There's money from Sue Kelly that's not spent because of the federal government and the state government controlling that money that Sue Kelly gave to the village of Highland Falls. Gee, that's amazing. Jim.
So just a couple of things, obviously, we're trying to, with the 4th of July, yes please, trying to get things for the kids to do and the adults. On the 3rd, we have bed races. We have a couple of teams signed up, we really need a few more teams. So, if anybody would like to sign up, you don't even need to actually sign up and call us now.
No,
Show up. We got the beds.
If they have 3 or 4 guys, women, ladies, men,
And
we'll get the 1 or 2 more.
And Joe will step up and get
I've
you in
done
the
it
bed.
before. No, I've never done that.
But anyway, so we have the bed races.
Yeah.
Great thing for an event for the community and getting
Nice.
getting us out there. Also, that same night, we're gonna have the bike, wagon, and stroller decorating contest, and I believe that's gonna be down at the band shell,
Yes.
where we're also gonna have the social reception for our grand marshals, Mrs. Mims and Mrs. Claiborne. So stop on down there for that, please.
Hula
It's-
hoop contest for kids out here
Oh, during the
during the bed race,
the
like
bed races?
intermission or something?
Okay.
Hula hoop,
All
now
right.
the DJ.
So there's going to be a lot of things for the kids. Everybody says there's nothing for the kids. Well, here's something for the kids and the adults as well. And then obviously on the 4th, there's a firecracker race. We have it every year. That's put on by local people that step up to the plate. It's a
Mary Jane,
fantastic.
Are you running this year?
Yeah, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
Okay.
And there's also a children's fun run. The parade,
Please, I would suggest you don't, because the route has changed and it goes by the lake down here. And if anyone's fishing, I don't want you to get hooked.
That could happen, yes, yes.
Yeah, it could, it can happen.
Possibility, yes.
Go ahead, Jim.
so the parade is gonna step off again at 3 o'clock. We got a lot of great floats, a lot of great bands.
The parade, as you know, has gotten so much, I'm so happy, so larger just in the last 4 or 5 days.
People are stepping up to the plate.
Oh, they're stepping up.
They wanna get
Yeah.
a float, they wanna get
Yeah.
different organizations in there.
It's gonna be quite a parade.
It's a great event. I mean, even last year with the rain, I think that's one that the kids will remember
We-
forever.
We don't want that anymore.
But it was an interesting one, and rain didn't stop our parade.
Too interesting.
And then obviously the festivities up at the park, watermelon eating contest. We're gonna have some balloon tosses, some other things for the kids to do. There'll be some good food vendors up there, and we'll top it off with legal fireworks that night that you can watch. So, lots of great things happening in the village on that front. Just wanted to bring up another quick point of interest. O&R sent out to everybody that they are coming in and doing their annual tree trimming. So if you see them out there, just be aware that they're going to be trimming trees. I know they were in the village last year. They might not have got all of them, so they're doing another phase this year. Just be careful. The guys up in the buckets, you know, they don't see you when you're going by fast, and try not to walk underneath of them, please. Also with O&R, they are almost finished with the phase of the LED lights that they did on Main Street this year. It definitely put a new light into this section of the community. I had a lot of good feedback. There was some feedback that some people didn't like it, but you know, as Mrs. Murphy told me, God bless her, she said, you know, it's like art. Some people like it and some people don't. But I think it's a nice positive light on the village. We see a lot of people actually walking out there now. Some comments from some of the local businesses was that they've seen a lot of visitors coming off of West Point and walking down Main Street in the evening hours. So all pluses for the village. And we're going to continue to work with O&R on that no cost to the village upgrade of our lights. That's what I got for today.
Anyone have anything? Please. I want to thank and I normally don't do this in this way, but I do want to thank the village attorney, Elise, for the donation that you made to the 4th of July. It's it was needed more this year than any other year, and I appreciate it. I mean that. Thank you. If there's nothing further, I'll take a motion to, do you have anything? I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Brian.
Second.
Second by Jim, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you so much. Happy 4th of July.